Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. I'm your host, the RPG Goddess, and today we're going to be looking at this article from DengekiOnline about the Suikoden game. It gives us a bit of new information, so I thought we'd read through it together. If it sounds interesting, then tune in. So let's get straight into it. This article was published on the 4th of March 2025, so it came out a couple of weeks ago. Okay, so we have the first question. Will the new Suikoden series, Suikoden Starlight, also depict the sequel to the series? An interview with the production team delving into the story of the new protagonist and the 108 stars. Suikoden Starlight, hereinafter Suikoden SP, was announced on the official Suikoden Live program of the Suikoden series, which was broadcast on March 4th, 2025. It's the latest title in the series to be released on mobile. Although information about the protagonist, worldview, character design, and so on has been released in fragments, a lot of information has been released, and it has attracted a lot of attention from fans who have been waiting for the new work. We immediately interviewed producer Shiniu Fujitsu and director Yoshikiki Matama about this much-talked work. We asked them about the thoughts that went into the work and points of interest based on the related videos, so please read on while comparing it with the video. Very cool, two legends being interviewed here, right there. Suikoden is one of my favourite game series of all time. I've been getting into the remastering of Suikoden 2, and I'm loving every single minute of it. It's everything I hoped it would be and so much more, but let's continue on. We want you to be happy that a new Suikoden game has arrived. Newly announced Suikoden SP has arrived, so I'd like to start by asking you about your backgrounds and how you were involved in this work. I've never been directly involved in the Suikoden series, but since joining Konami as a consumer programmer, I have been in the production field for over 20 years, changing roles from planner to director to producer. I often work on mobile games and in charge of producing the recently announced Suikoden Starlight. I'm the director of this game. I will tell you more about this later. But in order to make this a mobile game that feels like playing a console game, I've been particular about not only the game design, but also the artwork, story, sound, and so on. I like that little line there. It seems like even though it's a mobile game, they're trying to make it as close to a console game as they can for a mobile game, so that's pretty cool. Because I'm really not a mobile gamer. I mean, I'll be playing this regardless because of Suikoden, but yeah, something about touchscreen controls and not having control in my hands just doesn't feel well with me. It doesn't sit well. But anyway, let's continue along. Many fans were surprised by the development of this new mobile game. But what was the aim of this project? As Leteo Rui, producer of the Suikoden series, said in the official program Suikoden Live, the aim of Suikoden SP is to allow more people to easily experience the Suikoden series as a game. In that sense, we chose the mobile format. The main story of Suikoden SP is not an if or parallel world, but rather takes place in the world and history of the numbered Suikoden series. For those who don't know the Suikoden series in the first place, we want to make this a game that will serve as an entry point to the series. And for fans of the series, we want to make something that will make them happy saying a new Suikoden game has arrived. So cool. So we knew as much. It's going to be a numbered game, as they said, set in the same world. I'm glad they're not doing the whole parallel world thing like they did with the last few Suikoden games, because that's part of the whole charm of this, that it's set in the same world and that, you know, the lore and characters are built upon. So that makes me happy. But yeah, so not a parallel world, set in the same universe. We already knew that, but good to know. Continuing along. Mr. Mensheng, what were your thoughts when you heard about this project from Konami? When I was asked to be the director, the only thing that had been decided was that I'd make a mobile version of Suikoden. I've always been a big fan of the Suikoden series, so I knew that fans had high expectations for the new game, and I felt a lot of pressure to meet those expectations. It's been a long time. Since the series was released with the numbered Suikoden 5 2006, the spin-off Suikoden Tear Christ 2008, and Suikoden The 100 Years of Spinning 2012, I thought that I needed to properly convey the goodness of the Suikoden series so that new users could experience its appeal once again. If we were to release the Suikoden series as a mobile game, I thought that fans would be more pleased if we made it a mobile game that had the same fun and playability as the console Suikoden games. The planning started in earnest when I thought about how to do that. So again, they're trying to make it as close to a console game as is possible for mobile, which makes me really happy. Next, we've got Sony started by deciding to make a game that involves following a detailed story. That's right, considering it would be part of the official history of the previous numbered series, it was natural to go in that direction. The idea was to make the fun and RPG-like aspects of the Suikoden series, which involves following the story in a consumer-like way and gathering 108 companions to accomplish something to a mobile game rather than cutting back on the fact that it's a mobile game. Don't like the way it says consumer-like aspects because that's going to be the gacha he's talking about. But in a lot of ways, Suikoden is definitely suited to a gacha game when you consider that the whole game is about collecting characters, collecting like your collectibles, like your old books and your sound sets and recipes and things like that. So it is very well suited for a mobile phone format, even though I'm not a big fan of it. Next, we've got, was it inevitable, in a sense, to create a new character? Yes, I wanted everyone to understand what the story was aiming for from the moment it was announced. A new protagonist and a new story of the 108 stars begins. We have some artwork of the main hero, who we've already seen, very cool. The protagonist of this game, you can give him any name you like. Kind of like this, don't like that there's not a canon name, but I have a habit of naming my main characters after whoever my crush on, which at the moment will be Tony, my new boyfriend. I'm not saying you've been together for about 7 months, but anyway. Here we have Hisui, a young girl who works as a servant in the protagonist's mansion. The timeline of Sui Gensui SP is set in the same solar calendar as the previous series, so it will involve characters from previous works and will have epilogues. However, please think of it as a work that is fun, as it focuses on the protagonist of Sui Gensui SP and the new 108 stars, with the appearance of characters from the series. So we're going to be seeing characters from previous Suikoden games, which you already knew, but very cool. I love when characters get a cameo, especially when they're a favourite of yours. There's so many cool characters in the Suikoden world. Solar Calendar, the calendar in the world of Suikoden. All the numbered titles from Suikoden 1 to 5 are stories set in the solar calendar, depicting events at different times and places in the same world. I was a little worried about the mobile platform, but my expectations for the story have grown and I can't contain my excitement. Thank you. We are working on the production with the feeling that we are making a numbered series. By the way, the subtitle Starleap, please tell us the thoughts behind this. Sorry guys, went up a little too far. The subtitle was a big problem. The production team and promotion team came up with hundreds of ideas before deciding on a subtitle, but we wanted to at least express the content of the game. The story of this game is the official history of Genso Suikoden series, but there are mechanisms that allow you to depict various eras. In addition, as a way to enjoy this game as a mobile game, there is also content where you can obtain various numbered characters and organise them to play. This is not the official hero, Sorry, I'll start over. This is not the official history, but rather an if scenario. But it's a game where you can play by forming a dream team using your favourite characters. Therefore, Starleap also means characters from various eras are coming together. It's quite interesting. So it's not going to be necessarily changing the history of the Suikoden games, but an if scenario. So what if this happened or what if that happened? So that doesn't imply something. I still don't know what it entails in terms of how we're going to be travelling through the various areas, but maybe the article will shed some more light on that matter. Let's continue reading. Oops, went too far again. Sorry, guys. As a fan of the series, it's the subtitle that makes sense. Did Meng Shen participate in the selection of the subtitles? Also put forward some ideas. In the end, Fujimatsu-san strongly pushed for Starleaf, so we decided to go with that. By the way, have you decided on an abbreviation for the title? We took the first letters of Starleaf to make it Gensui SP. SP can also mean smartphone, so we thought that it would be easy for everyone to remember that it's a mobile Suikoden game. It also has a special feel to it. Interesting, so that's where the SP comes up. It means smartphone or Starlink. That's pretty cool. Oops. Sorry about that, guys. I see, when I heard the abbreviation has a meaning, it seems like a very deep title. It was announced that Mori-san will be in charge of character design for this work. Can you tell me how he came to be asked to do this? Moriano's illustrations and character designs have a touch that makes you feel the fantasy world and story, and we felt that they matched the worldview of Gensui SP, so we asked him to do it. In the broadcast program, we revealed 5 characters, including the main character, but we plan to show other characters in future broadcasts. So as expected, we're going to get more of the Konami live streams about this, and we can expect to see more future characters in those future broadcasts. As expected, but good to know. You ended up designing 108 characters. How was your interaction with Mario? Strictly speaking, you didn't create all of the 108 characters from scratch, but you did design and clean up many of the characters. However, you did supervise all of the 108 characters and the new enemies that appear in this work. What is the process for requesting a design? I told Morris-san about the scenario and character settings, and he came up with a design that matched the characters while thinking about it together. So I think he breathed life into all the characters. Thanks to Morris-san's designs, I was inspired, and many parts of the characters' depth and story were born. Yeah, the characters are obviously a big part of the Suikoden games, and Morris-san does such a great job of creating those characters. Even the ones that aren't really your favourites just have this special feel to them, like you said. Continuing on. There are 5 numbered works in the series, and there are a huge number of characters, including spin-offs, so it must have been really difficult to make sure the designs did not overlap. I think you must have a hard time with the amount of work. Bryce smiled. Yes, it's quite difficult to avoid overlaps with not only past works, but even just among 108 stars this work. I can imagine it would be with so many characters. Also, we are having various illustrations for redesign and draw characters that appeared in the past series, so I hope you'll look forward to that as well. Naming the characters is also difficult, of course. We want to avoid having the same name, but we also need to avoid having names that are similar or sound similar. Some characters are intentionally made similar. There are restrictions, such as visuals, but I think restrictions are the mother of imaginations. So, in a way, I feel that good characters are born from that. I like that line. Restriction of the mother of imagination. That's very, very true. Is the use of 2D pixel art rather than... I thought I went up too far. I thought I could read it, but I can't. Is the use of 2D pixel art rather than 3D that is mainstream these days a consideration of the upcoming release of Suikoden 1 and 2 HD remasters or of the Gate Rooms Water Unified Danan? That's right. When people hear the name Suikoden series, I think many people think of Suikoden 1 and 2. Personally, I feel that pixelated expressions are no longer so old-fashioned. I call RPG fans who have that kind of feeling authentic RPG fans. I think that many people who like the traditional RPGs when Suikoden 1 and 2 were released are enjoying them because they have that feeling, but are looking for high quality pixels, sounds, and stories with the latest visuals. Therefore, I thought that if I could firmly press what the group wants, it would resonate with them, so I chose this style of expression. I'm so glad they did go with the style of pixel art because it's one of my favourite styles. I think 3D can be incredibly beautiful, but I grew up playing Nintendo Entertainment System games, Sega Mega Drive games. They were the first systems I ever had, so I grew up with pixel. And it has a very special place in my heart, that pixel look. Plus, it certainly doesn't look old fashioned anymore. In fact, I think it's become in fashion again. But yeah, I like that. Authentic RPG fans. So I see like pixel art or authentic fans. I like that a lot. This was not technically possible when Suikoden 1 and 2 were released, but it is now possible and can be produced with a quality that suits the times. I think people will perceive it as a new expression rather than something old or retro. The background is 3D, but all the characters are made with 2D dots in Suikoden 1 and 2. I think the good tempo of the battles and the comical movements in the scenario were really wonderful. I felt that the expression of dots, which allows the emission of movements, was essential to reproducing that sense of tempo and fun production. For example, in Suikoden 2, there is a scene when Nanami, who has reunited with the protagonist after a long time, slams him to the ground. However, if such a movement is expressed with a rich 3D character, it may look too violent, or conversely, it may become too much of a comedy scene. I think what we originally wanted to express in that scene is Nanami's character's lively nature and her feelings of how worried she was about the protagonist. I felt that it was possible to express in an exquisite way because it was expressed with dots. From the start of the project, I wanted to make the most of the advantage of dot expression to convey the various good points of Suikoden to new fans. Sorry about that. While showing us the actual device, the background is indeed 3D, but it doesn't feel strange at all. There's a depth to the screen, so you can feel the expanse of the city. The number of residents is incredible. About 400 people. Jesus Christ, that's almost too many people. Although, I have a feeling they're going to do this where, I don't know what you'd call it, but I've noticed a lot of games these days will have really big towns and things with lots of people, but half of them we can't actually talk to. They're just, there for decoration to make it feel more lively, but not actually characters that can interact with. If they can have 400 people, I'll assume that will be the route they go on, because I can imagine it would be way too hard to talk to 400 different NPCs. You can sense the buzz around the store and it feels very lively. In that sense, I think there is an advantage to using pixelated characters. You can draw detailed parts. The wisteria trellis is also very beautiful. Does the camera work change according to the event scene? Yes, there are some effects during battle as the character rotates around. Nice. That was always a highlight. To make it feel that much more dynamic the way the character, not the character way, the camera zooms in and out at key moments, like critical hits and things. You mentioned it's quite easy to express it in 3D, but with graphics of this quality, I imagine there were some difficult aspects to producing them. I've gotten used to it, I can mass produce things, but it does take a long time to create one city. There are lots of objects to place. The battle is a diagonal top-down style like Genso Suikoden 1 and Genso Suikoden 2. And I think there are many fans who are satisfied with it. Will this be a turn-based battle with command input? That's right. You can use commands such as normal attacks, crest attacks, combo attacks, and special moves unique to each character called Uigi. Sorry, I pronounced that wrong. There is also an auto battle function, and even though it is a command battle, it is designed to be played at a good tempo. After all, when it comes to the Suikoden series, there are probably many people who chose a marquees and played the battles automatically. I think you'd enjoy the same sensation when setting this game to auto. So that's good to know. We could pretty much tell from the trailer that it's going to be turn-based combat, but to hear it straight from the devs is good to know. I'm interested about the crest attacks. I'm pretty sure that's going to be the equivalent of ring attacks. Why they changed it to crest attacks instead of ring attacks, I don't know. But from what I know about this game, it's going to be that instead of being able to equip different runes on different characters, each character will have their own rune, and that rune will just get stronger throughout the entire game. So maybe it was due to that aspect that they changed the name, I don't know. But yeah, interesting. We were also able to see a scene that resembled a war event simulation from Suikoden 2. What parts of the original version did this follow? No, I've thought about how to express war in Suikoden SP, so it's a completely new way to play. War is a big theme in the Suikoden series, and we're currently working on what kind of functions it should have. Sounds to me like they're still pretty early in developing the war battles. The only thing is, I hope that we don't have permadeath, because I know some people like it, but personally I don't. It stresses me out. I'm one of those people who will play a game on normal or easy, because I don't like too much of a challenge. I'm more of an easy gamer. And yeah, the war battles can be quite hard when you know that a character might permanently die, so I hope they admit that and don't make them too difficult. But I do seem to remember in the live that they said that the war battles were not going to be too difficult. Anyway, that's just my personal preference. Next we have, by the way, I think there are some people who are not good at this kind of simulation-like play. So what do you think the difficulty balance will be? The wars you experience in the main story are not expected to be that difficult. We are considering using this mode outside of the main story, so if you're looking for a more challenging experience, please try it there. And there we have it. That's interesting because I was talking about that. So we have it straight from the dev's mouth. The war battle is not going to be too difficult, which is good to know. And again, there's going to be difficulty mode, so that's what they're saying there. If you want a difficult mode, you can play the game on difficult, which I won't be using, but I'm sure many people will be. Is this what you call a challenge mode? Yes, it will be battle content that's separate from the main story. The wars in the main story are not balanced so that you can't win no matter what you do and can't proceed. However, we made it so that you can feel a certain degree of playability. Okay, so that's interesting again. I like the way that this is not balanced in a way so that you can't win. Because, yeah, I'm not a big fan of the war battles when they get too difficult or too strategic. They're just more to break up the combat and make the political scenes seem all the more dramatic and draw you in more. Next we have, so you won't have a situation where you can win the war, where you can't win the war because you can't get this character. I'm a little relieved, laughs. What you said, there are various mechanisms in place that make it okay to start the series from Gensui SP. That was the goal, and one of the themes of the project we chose mobile as the hardware this time because we want more people to enjoy the world of the Suikoden series. You can enjoy the game if you don't know the Suikoden series, so we hope this will be an opportunity for you to experience the series. In addition, for fans of the series, we have prepared elements that will make you go, oh, when you play, such as past characters and places, so you can enjoy the new and nostalgic parts. It's quite a difficult task to get to achieve the balance, but we're working on the production every day with the hope of achieving it. How will you get your base of operations? The story will begin with the village where the protagonist lives being attacked. The first major objective is to restore the village, and by developing it, it will become a base. Since it is a large village, various characters will gather there. There are some similarities to the bases in previous series, such as facilities being unlocked as certain companions increase in number. At the base, you can enjoy various mini games, and as you develop, background music changes, and there are other fun elements as usual. Interesting. So I didn't realise that. So the base is going to be the first town, the home village of our protagonist, and after it gets attacked and destroyed, we have to rebuild it. I've seen that trope in games before, but we just fine, so at least we know what the base is going to be. That's pretty cool. From a fan's perspective, I'm curious about the art event at the base, which is a staple. It won't be at the time of release, but I hope you'll look forward to it last. We plan to add various features from time to time so that everyone can enjoy this game for a long time. Of course, there are many things that you can play from the beginning. Okay, so we have confirmation that the buffs won't be available at the very beginning of the game, they'll be released later. But this being a mobile game, it will have many timed events and updates because that's the way these mobile gacha games work. Continuing on, we have also in mobile games, for example, you can borrow other users' characters, join a guild, etc. Is there a mechanism in this game that makes you feel connected online? We're still considering that, but we are focusing on making a title that can be enjoyed by one person. However, since it's a mobile title, we're also considering such online involvement. So it sounds like they don't know at the moment whether there's going to be any online features, but they're considering it. That's interesting. This game will be released on mobile, but I think fans are curious about how the story will progress and how the 108 stars will be collected in this game. In particular, in previous games, there were characters that the player could take action to become allies with, so please tell us as much as you can. The main story will take place within the solar calendar of the Suikoden series. Therefore, as you progress through the main story, you will meet new companions from the 108 stars and they will join you. Like the consumer version, you'll be able to make them your companions as you progress through the story. On the other hand, since this will be a mobile title, we're considering a system where you can acquire characters through previous series, through events and gacha. So something we knew already. Some characters will be required to purchase, although we do know from the live event that the main 108 characters won't require any payment. They'll be included in the game. It's just if you want extra characters like, say, I don't know, Flick from Suikoden 1 as an example, you'll have to pay gacha for them. So we pretty much knew as much. Excuse me. So, will there be situations where you can't progress through the story because you can't make this character your companion? Please don't worry about that. To add a little more, in 108 Stars, there are characters who become allies by progressing through the story. And like the previous series, there are characters who become allies by completing sub-elements that the player does something. Because this is a mobile game, will the story be distributed and developed sequentially? Yes. It's the same feeling as enjoying a long-running serialized manga. By the way, based on the current response, it looks like the game will have a lot of gameplay time, even at release. So, if it's coming out like a manga, that means you'll have like going part 1, part 2, and whatever, and then at certain periodic times, they will get released. So it's not going to be the whole game coming out at once. It'll be released in parts. That's pretty much what they're saying there. Damn, I wish I'd stop doing that. I'm looking forward to that laughs. Also, the video mentions the 27th True crest, the crest of change, and it was said that this crest was inherited by the Sindarian tribe. Will the owner and effect of the crest finally be revealed? I can't reveal anything about it because it's related to the core of the story. But for now, I want you to know that the crest of change is the key and that the Sindar tribe will be involved. So we pretty much knew as much based on the fact that the main true rune, or true crest, as they're calling it, is going to be the rune of change, which we know that the leader of the Sindar held, but we have confirmation right here that not only will the crest of change, or 27 true rune of change, and the Sindar race will be involved. The Sindar race, for those who don't know, are basically the Suikoden equivalent of your long-lost ancient civilizations that have left ruins and ancient tech all over the world, and for the most part, people don't know a lot about them because they've obviously died out and they've just left their ruins around. But we do know a little bit about them, so it'll be very, very interesting to learn more about them. That's one of the things that I'm most excited for about this game. I love learning about the lore, the different races, and the 27 true runes. So that'll be a definite highlight for myself, and I'm sure many others. This will be a development that will answer the question of fans who have been wondering about things that hadn't been revealed until now. The answer to that question is yes. It will also focus on things that have only been mentioned by name in the solar calendar history of the Suikoden series, and will also play a role in connecting the so-called missing links between the series that are not being depicted. We're working closely with Konami's IP supervision team on these parts. As I listened to the story, I was surprised by many facts and settings. I think fans will enjoy these parts. However, we made it so that even those who have never played the series before can jump into this world without any problems, so please rest assured. So that's pretty cool. We knew as much, considering that the game is set in the same world and will have recurring characters, but it seems like they're going to use this as a deliberate way to connect some of the missing dots, so to speak, about characters and historical events, so that'll be nice. Seems like events that have only been hinted at before we'll get a resolution, or at the very least more information, so I'm greatly looking forward to that. Continuing on, earlier you mentioned that there are mechanisms in place. Oh, whoops. I thought I was reading the same question anyway. Earlier you mentioned that there are mechanisms in place to depict various eras. Will the game be played by setting up a base in the core era and flying back to various eras based on that? No, it is not a genre that involves going back and forth between different timelines. It is not something that changes the past. Suikoden SP starts a few years before Suikoden 1 and a little after Suikoden 5. So it will start as a prequel to Suikoden 1, and as you progress a little, you can create a prequel or sequel to Suikoden 2 or Suikoden 3. So we're not going to be having time travel because it won't be changing the existing lore, so we still don't know what this shifting through times is going to be, but it's certainly not going to be time travel. I was wondering if it would be time travel through the use of Vicky, but it looks like that won't be the case. Suikoden 1 and 2 HD Remaster, Gate Emblem War, Denan Unification War were released on March 6, so fans who have played it will be happily to see the actuality behind the scenes of memorable scenes. On the other hand, since the era begins before Gensou Suikoden 1, I hope that those who have played Gensou Suikoden SP will be interested in the remastered version, thinking there's a title that delves deeper into this. Yep, I'll certainly be thinking that. Anything and everything to do with Suikoden, I'm right there for. In the video, we're able to see the familiar Vicky. Will characters who have played an active role in the series appear through events? There are characters who appear in this way, and there are also encounters with characters who are inevitably involved in depicting the corresponding era and the main story. Okay, so I'm guessing some characters will appear as Gotcha, and then there'll be characters that are just part of the main story, and then there'll be characters that appear as timed events and things like that. I think that's what they're trying to say. Indeed, we're able to confirm areas that appeared in previous series, such as Rockland and Gregminster. Not only will there be places that have appeared in previous games, but there will also be places that appear for the first time in this game. I think this will be the largest area you can adventure in the Gensou Suikoden series. Laughs. So it sounds like it's going to be a very big part of the world, which bring it on, the bigger the better, I say. But yeah, again, because it's going to be set in the same universe and the same world and whatnot, there will naturally be places that we get to go to. Like I said, we saw Rockland and Gregminster in the trailer, and there might even be many other places too. We don't know yet. That's all we know. I'm looking forward to the main characters from previous games appearing, but will there be any series involving the main characters of this game? Please let me keep details of that secret for now. Don't want to tell. That's funny. Guess I can't. By the way, you can also enter the names of the main characters from previous games. The names are entered by default, but I hope you will enjoy entering the names you use when playing the game. Okay, I was hoping this might be a chance to actually find out the canon names for the game, so that's kind of a shame that we have to name them ourselves instead of getting official canon names, because the names that we use, like Ryu, for instance, we've never had official confirmation that they are the names. We've just sort of cobbled them together as fans based on the information we have. Anyway, damn it. Sorry, guys. That's a nice feature for fans of the series. I'm also a fan of the series, so I would be a little sad if the main character was given a name different from the one I remember playing. It's not our policy to include anything that would cause that to happen to fans who support the series. Sorry, guys, I wish I wouldn't keep doing that, but this button's so close to the other button. The live orchestra performance at the streaming event reminded many fans of the sound of the Suikoden series. What do you think about the sound? We put a lot of effort into the sound. We've included orchestral arrangements of memorable music from towns that appeared in previous games. Of course, there are many songs that were composed specifically for Suikoden SP, and many of the songs are recorded with live instrument sounds. That's really gorgeous. There are over 100 songs, and if you count in the program songs, the total will exceed 150. Wow, there's going to be a lot of music in this game. That's cool. And if I know my Suikoden, I guess that will sound pretty damn good too. Suikoden music's always a highlight. I think it's some of the best in RPGs, period. It always seems to have this really old world feel that's also really classic and timeless. Music is just so well done in Suikoden games, so looking forward to that. The world of Gensou Suikoden features countries of various cultures, so the instruments used are also very varied, from shamisen to instruments used in gagaku. I'm doing my best to meet everyone's expectations. In the video, the theme song Kampuna, sorry, I think I pronounced that wrong, Kampunala, sung by Kahoe Nakamura, was played. How did this come about? Many live recordings of the BGM mentioned earlier were also a commitment and a challenge, but as one of the challenges related to the sound of the Suikoden SP, we thought of creating a theme song. We wanted to create a song that could express the world of Suikoden and also make you feel the story of the Suikoden SP. We asked Nakamura to write the lyrics and compose the music and even sing it. So this song will be played in important scenes. When playing mobile games, often listen to it through speakers rather than headphones. Since the sound is quite rich, headphones are a must when playing. Please give a message to the fans who saw the announcement on the stream and are looking forward to the release. This is the first time the series has chosen a mobile format, but we're working hard to create a game that will rival the numbered consumer games. For the fans of the Suikoden series, we want to create something that will make them excited to play a new Suikoden game. We also want to create a game that will be enjoyable for those who don't know the series yet, those who have never played it, and those who like RPGs. We hope that this will be the first step into the world of the Suikoden series, so we hope that you will look forward to and support Suikoden SP. The development staff is currently working hard every day to bring the wonderfully internationally acclaimed Gensou Suikoden series to as many fans and newcomers as possible. We would be very grateful if you could play the game at least once, and we'll be even happier if you could find your favourite from the many charming characters. Thank you very much. And that is the end of the article, guys. So, that's all for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If we get more information about the the upcoming Suikoden Starlight, I'll be sure to cover it. Yeah, we had some pretty interesting information, come about as part of this article. So I wanted to share that with you guys. Hope you've enjoyed it. I've got some more videos planned. I want to do the character Richmond investigations, the suggestion boxes, and finish the old book series. I've got 4 and 5 to do. Also covering any news information about games that comes up and trailers in the form of shorts. Been working quite hard on my YouTube channel lately, so hope you enjoyed this little video. If you have enjoyed it, please consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel, leaving a comment, and sharing it with your friends. All that good stuff really does go a long way. Shows me that you appreciate what I do and that you want to see more. I'm now also on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I have pages available in all those formats. You'll find links in the video description and on my channel page. If you want to hop on over to there, you can, to show your support. And just a quick note, the majority of people who watch my videos aren't actually subscribed.
Hey,
Only about 1% of people who watch my videos are actually subscribed. So if that's you, please consider changing that and subscribing. That way you won't miss a single video. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching, guys. I've been your host, your RPG Goddess Gamer. I love you all, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.